All right, so the recording is started, and by continuing to be in this meeting, you're all consenting to be recorded. So welcome you all to the very first webinar, the course introduction webinar for Data 495, which is probably going to be the last course, and you're going to be, at least if not the last course, the last semester for you or many of you who'll be completing the degree during December timeframe. So very happy to be with many of you, and actually with all of you, of course, but to many who we've been, together in the past. We worked together in the past. So very happy to see you all again in this course, and to the folks who have never worked with, it's going to be exciting. Trust me, it's going to be exciting knowing you. So I'd love to know more about you in the classroom if you have never been part of my previous courses, Data 220, 445, or 460. If none of those, if you have never crossed paths, then I hope you all also enjoy this course as much as some of your classmates did, and the reason why they're here again. All right, so again, as soon as my screen starts working, which sometimes it doesn't, so you know the drill here. I see all the faces here, and everyone here is aware of our meeting etiquette. So I don't want to go through this ever again. Probably just the last time, just sharing with you. But again, the only thing I would want to share with you and maybe talk about is that I'll keep these webinars shorter than what you may have experienced in the past, unless some of our discussions really, are exciting and go beyond. I'll try to kind of keep this short because there isn't going to be much from content perspective. It's more of this time around in this course, our webinars are going to be more of a touch point, really, to see if I can address any of your questions, to see if I can help you in any way, if you're stuck with something and anything of that sort. There's nothing more from a content perspective, because what this course is, and which I'm going to be talking about pretty soon, is just a culmination of everything that you've done in the past. So that's not much from a learning perspective. What you've learned is now, and you're now going to really implement it. Okay. All right. So this course doesn't have a lab as such, but because there are no lab modules, the assignments are really building up on and building up your entire project. So you really don't need a lab here. You don't then, so there's no Salesforce support tickets. If there's an issue in the classroom with any material, you just bring it to my attention via email, and I'll get them addressed, right? But there's no TAs assigned to this course as what you would have seen in the past. But having said that, if any of you are interested in being part of the lab, the AWS lab that you worked with during Data 445 and 460, and you just want to play around or just want to make use of it for any reason, I can still open it up for you guys. I have a lab. I'll show I have a lab opened up for you guys, but I haven't added any of you yet. I will only add by request. And again, there would not be any TA support. So it's going to be completely on you to kind of manage yourself within the lab. But I'll be happy to kind of have you really take advantage of that. And if you want for another 8 weeks to 10 weeks or 3 months, I will open it up for you guys, right? So I want you to take advantage of that, but up to you. I don't want to force it on you if you don't need it. Okay, so let me know. So as I mentioned, this is capstone course in data science, which is, like, as I said, bringing in everything that you've learned. So you will not, there will be some material that's kind of going to be a refresher of a lot of things that you've done in the past, but pretty much you're just going to be building a project here. You're going to be just putting up all your skills together and seeing all the learnings that you had in the past, apply it, build the project step by step. And so from that perspective, this course becomes very, very important. Each week becomes very important here because you're building on. I don't want anyone to fall back behind in any way. trust me, it's going to get harder and harder if you fall behind, because at the end of the 8 weeks, what you're going to submit is what you would have done during the previous weeks. So if you're falling behind, the last couple of weeks, the last week is going to be very difficult to take in all of that. So I would suggest that you start working on right away. If you can move forward, that would be excellent, and do something more from the next weeks or so. Absolutely, go ahead and do it. But remember that each of these pieces are to be built and to be submitted, right? So and I'll go through all of that. But this is a capstone course, so you'll have to treat it that way, that you're building a full-on project. So from the course components perspective, you'll learn about data science life cycle. That's going to be week 1. Week 2, you'll be talking about or learning about data storytelling. Week 3 would be data science techniques. Week 4 would be artificial intelligence and machine learning. Week 5 would be about artificial learning and deep learning, artificial intelligence and deep learning. Week 6 would be spent on ethics. Week 7 would be spent on data security and privacy. And week 8 would be lessons learned. So that's how these are the different components of this course, and they are like all placed in during each week of this course, which is 8 weeks long, now that you can see here. Okay. As far as the outcomes of the course, like what you will end up learning is effective storytelling and communication in general, data mining process, planning and implementation, proficiency in data science, business intelligence, machine learning, and AI technologies, understand ethical issues and implications, incorporate data security and data privacy best practices, and follow the machine learning modeling life cycle. Okay, so this is what the outcome of this course is going to be, that learning all of these aspects again. And some of these aspects you have touched upon in the previous courses. So bring that on, just kind of try to remember or reflect on what you have learned in the past for these courses, or this is all going to help you when you're putting up your discussion postings and all that. Okay. But again, don't just copy paste from your previous course postings. If anything that you find is similar in nature, you'll have to still come up with your own and something new for this particular course. The next is the course lab, which I just talked to you about. If you find a need to learn, or even if there's an interest in using the AWS lab, let me know and I'll get you into this lab. It has already been built. I just haven't invited you yet. Okay, it will be only on request basis. So as far as some of the statistics goes here from the course perspective, there are going to be 4 discussions, 5 assignments, and 2 presentations. Okay, keep that in mind. 4, 5, 2. 4 discussions, 5 assignments, and 2 presentations. Okay, from announcements perspective, some key points. Do not skip any announcements in the classroom. Announcements within a week may have some duplicate information. So I tend to, as you probably have seen me doing that in the past, especially if you have worked with me in the past courses, then if I have any announcement within the same week, I copy over, because I don't want you to miss that. That's the only reason why sometimes it would be redundant information during the week. But my only goal is that you do not miss out on what I may have posted earlier. Okay, so that's the reason why you may see sometimes some redundancy in the announcements. The webinar recordings will be posted within announcements, as I've done in the past. After the meeting is over and I get the recording from the cloud, I will certainly put it up for for you to view this. The links for tasks and activities to be completed may be part of the announcements. Again, anything that's due for that week, what you need to work on, you'll see a link within the announcements, besides accessing them through the content section. Then grade statistics. Yeah, I don't know if you guys, find it useful. This is an area where I would need your feedback on. If you think that by, publishing your grade statistics or how you did in each assignment or each discussion, if that's helping you, I want to publish it. I don't want to publish it to, if it demotivates you or you find that it's not necessary or you don't find it interesting, I don't want to do that. So what do you guys think? I mean, some of you have been, or many of you have been part of my previous courses. Do you like that aspect of my announcements or no? You could just
I
say yes
like
or
it.
no. You
I
like
like
it? Okay.
Yes.
I see one like. How about others?
I like them.
Okay. All right. Anyone else want to say no?
It's good. You can go on with it.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
find it, Delta.
Okay. As long as it motivates you guys. I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, I don't want to just publish it for the sake of. My goal is that it motivates you. It knows where your class stands. It knows where you stand. And when I was a student and I did not get to see it, and that sometimes did not help me. I probably would know because my classmates would be my friends and I would know through them, but it would never get published and I would not know. And every time I asked, I would get the answer as no, saying no, it is maybe students don't like it to be published, and that's the reason I never published the names. I just published the stats. Okay, so I'm glad that you like it and you find it useful. Okay, I'll keep doing that. So an assignment, presentation, or discussion changes will be posted within the announcements, if there are any. I don't think there would be much here in this case. I know in the past, we used to work with with AWS a lot, and there used to be some changes. And some of you are pretty good to kind of try it out earlier and used to give me feedback of something that's not working or something that's missing or something that could be done differently, and I would probably go in and I would change or update your assignments accordingly. In this case, since we are not using the lab, I think it's pretty much set. But if there is anything, I would certainly like, maybe there's a link that's not working or maybe something on the assignment that's not clear, I will kind of go and update it accordingly. And I'll announce it as well within the announcement section. Okay. Any questions thus far? I know I'm going through a lot of information, which is also within the syllabus, but the reason I'm bringing it up here so that we can have a discussion and hope and this conversation here should help you to remember this, right? Sometimes we don't look at the syllabus as many times, but at this discussion, you may probably remember it. You may have it as recorded and as a video, so you can always watch it. But any questions thus far? I'll take the silence as no. All right, very important about the discussions, right? The four of discussions, what I call. First and foremost, early initial posting, right? If you have an accommodation, I understand that you could be there, but I would prefer to see your posting at least by Saturday of that class week, okay? And the reason is that this helps you. Once it's posted, you are able to see others' postings. You can comment on them. You can engage. You can participate in that kind of. That's the whole purpose of this discussion. It is not to make you kind of write a summary on something that you would have read on an article or whatever, wherever you've read. That's not the point. The point here is to learn from each other. And if you're going to be posting on a Tuesday night, or Tuesday late evening, that's really not going to be helpful. Unless, as I said, I understand, we have few students with accommodation, and I completely understand you may not be able to get to that point. But if you can, please try your best to see if you can post this earlier. Okay. Secondly, you have to comment on two classmates posting. Now, if each of you post late, you would not find the good posting that you want to really comment on, or you want to engage and participate in a discussion with your classmates. Another reason why you want to have an early posting, right? By end of day Saturday. So comment on at least 2 classmates posting. Then very important to respond or acknowledge any instructor and classmates comments. So if I'm writing to you, if I'm commenting on you, maybe I'm not asking a question back. Maybe it's just saying, hey, I love the article. I love that you did this, or whatever my comments could be. You will want to at least acknowledge by, thanking, right? Me or to your classmates saying, hey, thank you for reviewing my, posting and acknowledging, or some kind of an acknowledgement back, the way you would do in a real conversation, right? If I say something back to you and or appreciate or maybe ask a question, you would respond back accordingly, right? That's exactly what is expected here, that you would respond and not just leave it there, right? So respond, acknowledge to my comments or to your classmates' comments, or respond to their questions. And most importantly, let's say if nobody comments on your posting, right? It's Tuesday evening, Tuesday afternoon, nobody has commented it yet. Or maybe your posting has been so late that people would not get a chance to look at it and comment on it. Then you owe a comment to yourself, and the comment to yourself mean you're just enhancing your posting, right? I'm not saying that, hey, if Meg has written a posting and she has not found anyone that has really responded to her posting, Meg would want to just not kind of say, hey, Meg, this is a great posting and all of that. I'm not saying that. Just enhance your postings, add some section. And I know some of you have done that in the past courses. So that's all I'm asking for. It's okay if nobody comments it. You take time to just enhance it. Maybe add a paragraph, maybe say, hey, this is something I read a week back, but I think it should be this way now that I'm reading some more material, right? So 4 of discussions. I will keep reminding you in between, but remember this picture when you are thinking about discussions. All right? Any questions? Did I explain this right? Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, definitely clear. Thank you.
Okay,
Sounds good.
excellent. All right, so this is a week by week structure, right? And I know it's not legible at all. This is a big picture. So I'm going to just break it down and go week by week. And what you see highlighted in yellow is it could be a submission or a deliverable from you, okay? So let's start from the top. The week 1 is your personal introduction. Again, not mandatory. You're not being graded for it. You're not given points for it. But especially if you find folks in here that are new, that never worked with each other, this goes a long way, guys. Please just get to know your classmates, and especially if you've never worked with me, I would love to read about you and know about you more, right? So try to post in your personal introduction. And then besides that, we have a webinar, which is today, right? Go through the assignment guide, the discussion guide, the project outline, the template, review the data sets for projects, and go over the readings on data science life cycle. Okay, always remember that to kind of just go through all your readings as fast as you can. There's no discussion first week, so it's good, but still definitely do that. As far as the data sets, I know I got a question from Mary, and Mary, I owe you the answer. Mary has another data set that she really wants to work on, and she's got a nice idea that she wants to really explore. Mary, I would not have any issues with it. I know. Thank you for giving me all the details of the data set, and I'm fine with you going ahead with using that data set.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, welcome. And it's a great data set, by the way. I'll be interested in your findings. So we'll see. And to others as well. I mean, all the data sets are excellent, guys. And the reason they are chosen for this course is that there is a level of, what do you call, that there's a level of difficulty, there's a level of ease of using these data sets, whatever you call, there's a particular level to it, and that's the reason why it may not be fully curated, it may not be fully or it's not ready for use, and there's a reason why, because it wants you to go through all the steps so you are able to publish those steps, right? You are able to experience that, you are able to work on those steps that you should be working on in a project. So even if you want to work on a data set that is outside of that, please let me know, work with me. I would want to kind of see the data set. I would want to know what your thought process is, why are you interested in that data set, okay? So please, the idea should not be getting a clean data from somewhere and saying, okay, I'm done. My half of my job is done. As a matter of fact, you've made it more difficult for you because it's already clean data set. It's already curated data set. And that would make it difficult when you go to your step within your project where you have to come up with your data cleaning and what you have done. And if there's nothing in there, you would not have much to talk about or much to practice, much to learn. So always keep that in mind. You do not want to bring something that is already done for you, already cleaned up. Okay. So, but as I said, the data sets out there are really good data sets. If any of you have any other data set, and please, if you are bringing it from your work, think twice. You may have to ask the legal of your company before you bring any data set out, okay? I'm telling you, I had a similar thing. I wanted to do a project when I did my master's in data analytics. That time I wanted my final year project I wanted to do with my company's data, and I had to go through legal. And of course, it was taking a long time, so I went ahead and did something different. But I'm telling you, this is the case. So you just cannot just bring data that you see at work and just think that you can use it here. Okay. I don't want to get into trouble, right? And that's the reason why I would ask you to do that before you use any data from your workplace. Okay. I hope I addressed any question that you may have in mind about the data set. If not, you can ask it right now. Any questions on data set or using data sets? Okay.
If we're going to be using like an outside data set, do you want us just to like send it to you so that you can see and look it over?
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, think about what I just talked about, right? Think of all the different things we talked about here. So be careful with that. But if you have a good suggestion, if you like something, and if I would want to also know why that data set is important to you and you find it very interesting than all the other data sets. So, and Mary did a good job in explaining to me that why she wants to use that data set, what is her scope, and what she's trying to search in that, right? So think of that. Give me some idea why you want it. Just not go ahead and pick it and saying, I love this data set, right? That may not be enough. So give me some more why you want to go outside of the data sets that are in the classroom. Okay.
I have a question.
Sure, Ada, go ahead.
So I was thinking, ever since the capstone came up, I was thinking about, I don't know if this allowed, but I was thinking about doing something like you did for your natural language processing. Like I was thinking about going to, I don't know, a page or a website or something and scrape the data. Is that allowed for this project or no?
I mean, as long as I want you to take a look at the project template.
Okay.
All the different sections. Make sure that you'll be able to address all those questions or sections in your project, right? So that's the only reason why I want you to take a look at the data set. And I'm fine with NLP projects, don't get me wrong. But again, is the data set that you have on hand, is that going to be, are you going to be able to, put up all or write against all the different sections that you're asked for? So just think about that. But I have no issues. I'm not going to be checking for how many rows it has and how many. That's not my point. My point is that you should be able to go through all the different steps that are listed in your assignment, right? Okay.
Okay.
But if there's a
Okay.
question, you and I can still talk offline, Heda. I'd be
Yes.
happy to, have that discussion with you before you start with your project.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay. Sure, sure. And this is open to anyone, guys. If you have things on your mind, or if there's something really interesting that you want to work on, I'd be open to it. I have no issues at whatsoever. Okay. All right. So with that, week 2, we'll start week 2 also like a week from now. We will still have another webinar, very similar pattern that I've used in the past, that after every couple of weeks we'll meet. But for the first time, like the first 2 webinars are like going to be little back to back. So we'll meet again next Thursday. And the reason I'm meeting again with you guys next Thursday is, again, I'm not trying to bring in the contents or anything or talk about data science lifecycle. We'll try to touch upon that a little bit, like a little refresher. But my main point to kind of see if I can address any questions, because I know from this point on, you're going to be looking at a lot of things. You're going to be reading from the classroom. You're going to understand what your project is like, what you want to do, and there may be many more questions. So I want to kind of address that. And that's the reason why I have the next webinar, which is a week from now. Okay. Then, you'll have readings on data storytelling. You have 2 deliverables in week 2. You have discussion 1 on your project idea. You're going to talk about your project idea, and you're going to look at and comment on your classmates' project idea. You will have an assignment 1 on project scope. So your very first assignment comes next week, guys. So you'll be putting up your project scope. So fast moving again, you will be building on week by week. Week 3, you'll start with the ratings on your data science techniques. There will be assignment 2 on data profiling and preparation and presentation. Your first presentation comes up in week 3. So that's how fast paced this course is, right? You'll see, and by the way, folks, there are templates in there to help you, but the points that you gain by submitting this information, it's not what is asked. If you submit it, that you think you are liable for full points. There's points for quality more than what steps you're kind of going through. You've been provided templates, doesn't mean you have to always stick. I mean, yes, content wise, you're required to kind of have the content that is needed, the sections that are needed. But if you want to be a little more creative and have good ideas on how to present the same content, please go ahead and do it, right? You don't have to stick to the same format of the PowerPoint, same look and feel of the PowerPoint. You can change the look and feel, but just don't change the content, because that's what's going to give you the points. So that's what you're going to be graded for. So it's very important, but be creative, be innovative, whether you're writing the paper like through these assignments, or you're putting up 2 presentations, right? Your first presentation coming up in week 3. Okay. Any questions on this slide or on all the 3 weeks that we covered here so far? Okay. I'll go on to the next 5 weeks. Week 4, we'll meet again, like on a Thursday. Then you would have a readings on AI and machine learning. You have your discussion 2 on project summary. You see the pattern here. The discussion is more on what your project is and how you're going to summarize it and how you present it. Whatever you have, the presentation that you build, you're going to put it up for your classmates then to look at. This will be like almost a graded presentation, or the presentation that you would have already submitted in the previous week. You would then be sharing with your classmates to get their feedback and you to kind of comment on their presentations, right? Then you also have assignment 3 on data visualization, and during the same week 4. Week 5 is readings on AI and deep learning, right? And besides that, you see that I've not fully highlight the assignment 4 on data modeling, because this is the one where you can probably start with it. If you've done, you can submit it. If not, the actual submission would be in week 6. Okay, so you have in week 6, you definitely have to submit your assignment 4, but you can skip week 5 if you're not done. In week 6, again, you have a discussion 3 on ethical issues and implications, and you'll be using the 5 C's framework to put up your discussion posting. We'll have a touch point like this. We'll also have a readings on ethics in data science. Okay. Then week 7, you will have another set of readings. Along with that, your final presentation will be due. So week 7 is pretty much, you're almost done with your project. You're almost done with everything that you would need from writing the assignment perspective, right? So that's week 7. In week 8, you'll pretty much wrap up, right? You will have a discussion, whatever you would have, whatever the final presentation you would have submitted, you would now be sharing with your classmates in week 8. And then you would comment on each other's final presentation. You'd also submit your assignment 5, the final assignment, with your final results, right? Any results that could change or that could tweak your assignments should be done in week 8. And that would be it, right? That would end all the weeks that are part of this course, which is 8 weeks of worth of material that you'll have to go through, and assignments and deliverables. Any questions on this slide?
I have one question, but it's mostly about the projects. If we start going and we start figuring out this is what we want to try to do, and we realize it's not going to work, and we need to pivot, how would we do that for those assignments? Would we just have to reduce portions of it, or could we be hey, we were trying
Great
this
question.
and it didn't work?
Great question. Yeah, I don't mind you kind of taking a U-turn at some point, saying, wow, I really wanted to do it this way, but it's not planning out. I'm okay if you'd want to kind of go back. My only concern with that is, let's say it's week 4. Let's play this out, right? Week 4, and you should have completed certain number of steps within the assignment or presentation by then. If you change it midway and you go back, you have lots to again cover with the new project. Let's say you pick up a new data set, you start with a brand new project, you will have a lot to catch up then. Would you be able to catch up? That would be my question to you, right? I'm ready to give you some time to kind of do that catch up, but I'm just a little concerned that, especially if you're in midway, right? If you're in week 4 and week 5, if something happens in week 2, I understand. I think you'll be able to catch up. I have no issues with that. But week 4 and week 5 is when I will be really concerned, if you would be able to kind of work through all of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So make that call, make that judgment call within the first week or 2 weeks. Make sure, and that's where this whole process is broken down. Like when you start thinking about your project scope and you're putting it on paper, right? You're writing it out. That's when things would start getting more clearer. Like that's why I'm saying, when you bring in all those newer data sets from outside, and you start putting your ideas on paper, is when you'll be really evaluate the data set and saying, okay, I can get this out of my data set. I can get all that, whatever NLP that I want to do, I'm going to be able to do that. So get that idea much faster. And then this assignment writing is going to help you with that. But at any stage, if you feel that, this is of no interest to me, or it's not panning out or working out the way I thought, make that judgment call right away in week 2 and week 3, so that you don't have to go back and write through all that 3 weeks worth of work for your assignment and or your presentation. Okay. Any other good question there? Absolutely. Very good question. Any other questions? Okay. We'll come back to any questions you may have. Absolutely. At the end too, we'll do a quick Q&A. All right. So from a webinars perspective, I just talked about it. We'll have a course introduction web, which is happening today, right now. We'll meet again 2 weeks from, next week, which is on the 26th. We'll meet again 2 weeks after that, which will be on November 9th. Again, we'll take 2 weeks gap. We'll meet again on the 23rd, and then final webinar we'll do on the 7th. However, I'm being very flexible with this. If you think you need a touch point earlier, or you want to meet like week by week, I'm fine with that, folks. I don't want to impose this on you, but if you think these touch points, especially for this course, is important that we meet every week, every Thursday, I'm fine. I'll be here. Even if it is, let's say maybe we'll have a short, like a 30-minute session for a Q&A kind of a session, not just going over and having presentation. I'm fine with it, guys. I can be here for you, but I don't want to impose it. I don't want to make it harder for you. Okay. So do let me know, during this session today, or even after this session, if you feel that, no, this is getting, you need to have this kind of touch points more frequently, or if you need to meet me offline, I'm fine with that. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay, so here's the entire grading list. Again, this is in the syllabus. Your project scope, assignment 1, 110 points. Assignment 2, it's better than 110, goes to 150 points. Presentation 1, 40 points. Assignment 3, 165 points. Assignment 4 goes higher now, 170 points. Presentation 2 gets higher than 1, which is 60 points. Assignment 5 is 170. That's the maximum points for the assignment. And then the 3 discussions are each at 30 points. And the last one for 45 points. The total of 4 discussions will fetch you 135 points. Okay, so that's a total 1,000 points. So late policy, very important, guys. I don't want to kind of get into, really deducting points because you're late. But again, I have to be fair with the students. So please just be mindful of your deliverables, of when they're due, and work towards it. If for some reason there's any hardship, you know me, in the past, I've really accepted it. But if I don't hear from you and you still keep working on, then there's going to be a reduction. I mean, I'll have to just follow the rules that UMGC wants me to follow, and this will lead to some reduction in grade for each day that your assignment is late. It's going to be 3%. That's a lot, guys. That's a lot. That's why you don't want to kind of get into this situation. But if you ever do, I understand we all go through some emergencies, some hardship. Please keep me posted, right? I'm here as a friend. I'm not here to penalize you. I'm not here to make life harder for you. I'm here for you to kind of learn and graduate successfully, right? So always keep that in mind. So let's keep this two-way communication going back and forth for any reason, for anything that you need to be successful in this course. Okay. So what are some of the success factors? You may have already seen this slide in the past, and it doesn't change for any of the courses, because you'll have to spend minimum of 3 to 6 hours every week. You'll have to spend more than 6 hours if you really want to do well and go above and beyond. Make sure you differentiate from your classmates and do a fantastic job. Then make sure that not just you are going to spend more time, but you're also starting early. Anything, whether it's assignment or your presentation or your discussions, just start early. And trust me, you'll see success come to you much easily because you've been doing things on time, faster, and spending more time on. No plagiarism, guys, please. Again, I understand there are a lot of AI tools that can do the stuff that is required of you to do. And I'm not going to say no, don't use them, right? Never. I mean, this is a data science class. This is an AI class, and you're learning all this here. So, but be fair and in terms of like if you're using some of the resources, cite the resources. B, see if you can convert it into your own words, even if you would have got something generated or something from an article. Please don't copy paste, or even if you do, there are ways you can do that. There's an APA format to do that. Okay, so please, again, this is the last thing I want to do is deduct points for plagiarism or deduct points for being late for the assignment, right? That's the two things I really hate to do, but I have to do it in all fairness to and kindness to other students who are doing a fantastic job and who are going through and making sure they're not breaking any rules. So please, okay, keep that in mind. Participation is key, in the class discussions and activities. That's going to be, these are the quality points I'm talking about that you want to, make sure that you are doing that so that your quality points are not cut in any way. And then submit on time, okay? No deduction for delays at all. Never, not to worry about that. Okay, any questions thus far on the few slides that I went through? Okay, take silence as no. We'll again open it up for your questions later on, but this is how you can get in touch with me. You have my email, and I check, at least a couple of times a day. So, if you send something to me in the afternoon, I tend to kind of reply back to you in the evening, or, so at least a couple of times, if not more. I'll be checking my emails. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And if there's a need for us to get on the phone or get into a Zoom meeting, we'll certainly plan that out. If you need to write to your advising, you probably already know this, but I'm just putting it up here so that you can all see it in one slide, whether it's, talking to your advisor, writing to your advisor, or talking to the program director for any reason, you have the contact information here. All right. So with that, it's almost what all that I wanted to cover with you today. We went over my introduction, which is the link there with the YouTube video. We went over the course introduction, the components, the outcomes, the course lab, the number of assignments and discussions. We went over the, announcements and what could be part of the announcements. We talked about the 4 of discussions. We talked about the course structure week by week. We talked about webinars, how many webinars we're going to have. We talked about grades. And finally, we talked about the late policy, our success factors, and how to get in touch with me. Okay, with that, let me open up for any questions that you have at this point. I hope this was useful.
So one of the things I was looking at is that financial data set that you had. There's a lot of missing information in that one. Is that going to be like, that's part of like the data cleaning portion of it, I'm assuming?
So yeah, there could be a reason why some of the information is missing, because, again, the whole idea is to see that, you are going to be interpreting it in a certain way, curating it in a certain way, cleaning it in a certain way. And, so yes, there's a reason why there are some going to be data sets where there will be some amount of cleaning or some amount of assumption making and all of that. I hope I answered your question, Sheldon.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was what it was for. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah. Okay, good questions there. Any other questions, folks?
So for this class, are there no tutors?
No tutors. There are no TAs. Is that it's about the TAs, or are you talking about the tutoring outside, the external tutoring?
I meant the TAs.
The TAs, there's no TAs because there's no labs. So there's no TAs. That's correct.
Okay.
I did want to briefly say that I'm definitely interested in having access codes to AWS. Count me in for that for sure. I don't know if anyone else is interested, but those will be invaluable resources in visualizing a lot of these sets and organizing them too.
Okay. Yep. Absolutely. I'll add you in, Chase.
Great. Thank you very, very much. Much appreciated.
Sure. And the rest too. Like if you at any point in time, it doesn't have to be today, right away. If you just send me a note that you would want to be added to AWS Lab, I will add you in. It won't take much time. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Yep. Anything else on your mind?
Yeah, especially the part of AWS that gives you access to run the Jupyter notebooks. That would be fantastic.
Absolutely. I have the same learner lab that you've used, Mary, in the past in 445 and 460. I'll have the same lab up. It's already up and running. You'll have the same credit. So please, again, since we don't have any TAs, we will not be able to spend too much time on debugging anything or anything that gets broken. Also, you're going to be responsible for the credit you have. So if you bring up something, pull it down. Make sure you're deleting all the resources on time. Don't want you to kind of have that credit going of being washed away, because then again, it will going to be very difficult for me to have that reset for you. It doesn't work that way. So you'll have to be really managing it yourself. Okay. So you'll start with $100 credit, which is more than enough. Trust me. Many of you who have used the lab, who have followed the instructions and made sure that you're deallocating or deleting the resources on time, you've never gone above. I've never seen many go above 20, $25 out of the $100 ever. And that even afterwards you've used it, that's just the additional. But it's more than enough if you do everything correctly, or like allocating and deallocating it. So if you don't need something, remove it. Okay.
Duly noted. Will this be like a fresh reset of that timer, or did we only get it once in our entire time at UMGC?
Once. It's once. So you'll get $100 credit, like the ones what you got, Chase, in the past. Okay, for the entire course. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to talk to you after class because I'm out on the $100 for it. So I would need it reset for me.
Well, there's no reset. So there's going to be no reset. That's why I'm saying you have to manage your resources. You have to manage your resources so that you are going to be deallocating on time.
Okay.
No, I think what he means is when you set up the accounts for this class, you start from scratch with $100,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry, I
Yeah.
misunderstood, Chase. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah. It was more.
This is a brand new lab. This is a brand new lab. So even if you have access to the old labs, and if you still have time left on it, you can still use them. Absolutely.
Okay, good. So it's that. Thank you for confirming that.
Yes.
Because I was burnt out on the old labs, so I definitely need the fresh for the new course.
Right.
Allocation. So thank you.
Sure. Okay, so guys, if you don't mind, since I see like 3 or 4 of you kind of just mention in the chat as well that you need access, would you mind just sending me just a one-liner in email that you would like access to AWS? Okay, I know Mary and Heda and Meg. Of course, I'll try to remember, but I don't want to miss out on any, and of course Chase as well. So if you can please send me just one-liner, okay? I'll take care of it tonight or tomorrow morning latest. Okay. All right. All good questions. Anything else on your mind?
Yeah, how you doing, Professor? Quick question for you. If I didn't want to use AWS and just use Google Collab or use
Absolutely.
what's the other one?
Absolutely.
Jupyter Notebook. Would that would
Yep.
that suffice for?
Absolutely. You're not bound to use AWS. This is just something I'm opening it up and making it available. As a matter of fact, this is AWS Lab is not a component of this course at all. I really don't have to build a lab for you because, as I said, there's no lab component here. But I'm just offering it to you in case you want to make use of it and use
Yes,
it.
Professor.
Yeah. All good questions, guys. Loving it. I like the spirit. You guys all excited? I am excited for you all. I envy you guys too, that you're going to be able to do all this fun stuff. I hope you're taking it as a fun stuff. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I wish I could start another project and I can also work along with you guys.
Yeah, this will be very exciting. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and then you guys can all grade my work, right?
Professor, what do you think it's the most difficult data set to work with?
Well, I would not see that the whole idea, there's nothing like from all those data sets, there are at equal level. There's no levels within the data set, if that's your question. And to be honest with you, I would rather work with a data set that has got a lot to do with it. So I am able to produce and work with it a lot and then kind of say that, hey, there were like 10 things I needed to clean because this had got 10 issues in it. I would rather have, if I'm doing like a school project, I would rather like have a data set that is going to be a little more difficult than easier, because when it's easier, when the data set is clean, curated, there's not much for me to do and not much for me to write on or write about. So I would be more worried if a data set is too simple and too clean. So that's how I would look at the data sets. I hope that helped your question.
I do like challenging data sets. That's why I wanted to.
Yeah.
No, I didn't want to pick the easiest one. I just
want easiest actually put you in trouble, to be honest with you. And I'm not.
I like to clean. I like to clean data sets.
Yeah, trust me, they put you in more trouble because you run out of ideas of saying, okay, what would I do with this data set? What more can I do? Because I can't do anything. And I have a full section to write about, a full page to write about this data set. I would be more worried with simple, data sets, to be honest with you. Okay. Anything else, guys? Okay, if no further questions, wow, we almost took entire time, but we still have 5 minutes. So I'm still going to be able to give you back 5 minutes. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Good questions, and let's get this started. And I said, do it in the right spirit. If any questions, I'm just an email away, and we'll meet again next Thursday. All right. Good night, folks.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good luck.
Thank you. Have a good night.